Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, the Doorstop gets a modern refresh, a whiteboard you can share with anyone around the world, and Jewel Staite teaches us how to plan an orgy in a small town. It's a hot and fiery episode, so sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find cool crowdfunding projects and let you guys know if you should backtrack or sack them. I am Ktdata, and joining me is the man who is just full of style and person I take advice from, the one and only Drew Tyler. How are you doing today, Drew?
Very good, very good. Good looking hat, by the way. It looks really good on you.
Like, am I doing this right? I don't know. I'm kind of a noob at doing all this.
As long as a little poke in front, a little back, roll in the back.
Yeah. Well, yes, sir. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, that'll work. Plus the big headphones.
Yes, the big headphones are always helpful in making headwear on the show difficult for me.
Exactly. In fact, I opted for the in-ear this week because I thought I wanted to be a little bit more FBI style with my hat. So
I know we got to get you one of those like wrists communicators too. So you're like, that'd be awesome. Absolutely. All right. So, like I said, this is whole podcast on crowdfunding. But before we go into the projects, Drew, how about we go into some news?
A lot of stuff happening, but fun stuff. This is good stuff. Good news today.
Yes, a lot of good stuff. So the first thing is Indiegogo is one of the more popular crowdfunding sites. I would probably say second only to Kickstarter.
Right. Yep.
On there. And one thing that I've always noticed that was missing was there was no mobile app. And
you imagine all of the crowdfunding people. I mean, most of us are on mobile, so I was actually surprised to see that in the news that they didn't have one before now.
Yeah, so actually last week they actually released the mobile app for iPhone. It was actually available for Canada only for a while, which was the weirdest thing. I didn't understand that. But they released it, and so now you can get it for free on iOS. And I know that all you Android users are like, what about us? They're working on it right now, and you can actually, there's a link for you to sign up and find out if, or when they launch for Android on there. I actually used it a little bit, and I actually kind of like it. It's a lot different from the way Kickstarter does theirs. Kickstarter's, it's almost a mirror of how their webpage is, and Indiegogo this time decided to go more for like the magazine style feel for this. So you have a lot of big pictures and just one word on there. You guys kind of seen a lot of the social media sites kind of switching to that. I'm super excited about that since now you can actually follow along and because I know a lot of people now spend most of their times on their tablets, and it's only a good thing so you can have reminders, because some people like to hold off on the backing projects until the last second, and then they forget about them because they're out and about or something. And having it be able to give you mobile notifications and everything is always a good thing. So Drew, did you get a chance to try out the Indiegogo app?
I did. I went through some of the projects that we're looking at today. I looked at a couple others, just kind of scrolling through. I loved the visual. I loved how kind of flip bookish it was. I guess there's just a lot of good visuals to it. It crashed on me a couple of times. Like 3 out of 6 times I tried it, it would just not pull up and crash. But I'm sure that it'll just get better. I mean, most apps kind of go through that growing pain, but looked very good to me.
Yeah. So if you guys are on iOS, like I said, jump on it right now. It's free, so it's not going to cost you anything on there.
Except for all those projects that you're about ready to back.
Yeah. But back all the projects. We love backing projects. So that is the iOS app, and like I said, Android users, it's coming soon to you guys. All right, Drew. So one of the other things that has come up lately is the potato salad. It actually barely finished yesterday.
It was really recently. Yeah, yesterday or the day before. Yeah, it's very recently finished.
Yesterday. So
that's very interesting project.
Yeah, it was interesting. It took the internet by storm.
Mm-hmm.
And Kickstarter this time decided to do a kind of a post-mortem about it, and they kind of went through some of the specs on there.
Which I find that really interesting that they would take that little bit of time And maybe it's because it gathered so much media attention and other attention that they thought, hey, if we can break out some numbers here, we can explain some things and maybe catch some of that buzz, I guess.
Yeah. And so, at one time it was up to like 75K on there. It finished off at $55,492. So I have a feeling a couple people probably just decided to do a max amount, and then when it was about to end, they lowered it down to a more lower number.
Right. Or backed it all the way out. And there was another, by a couple of people, I don't know if you were insinuating this or not, but there's some potato salad conspiracy theorists that wonder if maybe they seeded the project in the first round. And again, no, I'm not saying they did I don't know if anybody's saying that, but there was I heard some discussion that perhaps somebody put in that $10,000 or $20,000 that kind of got it that first buzz where people were like, what's going on? Why is this potato salad getting this? And then people read through it and be like, that's fun. And they all back it. And then as soon as they had enough to fund, the initial backers either backed down to a normal amount or pulled out entirely. I'm not sure, but that would seem to be a way to almost get that engine revving. It's like hot wiring a car, I think. Throw a bunch of fake money in there that you're not going to lose because you're not going to fund. I don't know. What do you take on that?
I don't know. Well, even if they put $10,000, they'd end up, because his goal was on like $20.
That's true. It's true.
So,
but it would still catch the algorithm or the eyes
and make it pop up.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about this project that still seems off on it, but because his videos turned out really well, and I just have this feeling that it was more of a performance art than anything else that kind of took a life of its own.
Very possibly. Very possibly.
I mean, because at the end they got almost 7,000 people. They got 6,911 people backed it. 4.1 million visits to that page.
That's a lot of visits.
To put that in comparison, that like the top three above it were the Ouya, the Pebble, Veronica Mars, and
potato salad.
And potato salad. That it got more views than Penny Arcade, Reading Rainbow, which raised a whole ton of money, and the Oculus Rift.
That means more people probably know about potato salad than know about the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, which is nuts to think about.
No.
On there. And remember, one of his pledges, he's going to make a book of recipes of potato salads from different countries of the world.
That's true.
There's going to be at least 74 pages on there, because 74 different countries back the project, and you would think the U.S. would be number one, right?
Yes.
On average. Guess what? Norway is a lot more generous than us Americans.
They based it on money.
Yeah, so the average pledge from a person from Norway was $12, and then South Korea, and then Sweden.
Oh, wow.
On there. In the States, if we break it down, number one makes sense. Ohio.
Right,
around where he lives, because all his neighbors, friends, and family probably saw him like, hey, I want to jump in on this.
Right, and they probably felt a little bit more secure in getting their bite of potato salad because it was closer.
Yeah. And then, of course, California and New York, where all the hipsters are.
Because they just wanted to see if they could get some potato salad.
They just thought it was, that's a cool thing. And then that way they went, oh, I saw potato salad before everybody else. I was one of the early backers. It's lame now.
I don't know, guys. I made potato salad for myself like a year ago. Hit that. Yeah. Interesting news, though. Interesting news for sure.
Yeah. So it's been a slow 2 weeks, but those are the news. So let's jump into our first project. So Drew, have you ever had this problem? I know you work in an older facility.
Oh yes.
And then also in production world, you're always moving boxes and stuff, and sometimes your hands are always full. So you try to prop open a door. You use those stupid wedge door stoppers that sometimes you just accidentally kick it, or they start chipping away at your door. Like one of my jobs, we used the door stoppers so much on this wooden door, like there was a hole where the door stopper wasn't.
The door stopper went.
Yeah, we had to like choke up on where we put it. It was ridiculous.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
And I didn't know about this either. But apparently floating doors, those wedge ones, they just come loose because you just of how the floor moves and it just pops off.
There's one of those at Startup Ogden. I don't know if you fixed it yet, but the main door into the big conference room, we tried to do a shoot in there where we had hot lights, so we tried to leave the door open. We could not get the wedge to work because every scene where we walked through that door, you'd step on the floor in the wrong spot, and then it would just loosen up, and the whole door would just swing shut in front of your face. So
Yeah. And then the other alternative is to put something in front of the door, which is always a pain because I always stub my foot in front of it because I can't see when I'm trying to move something, or you put a box there and the box is all mashed up at the end.
That's my door at the studio at the school. We had gosh, it was just like a milk crate style box that we have to lean in front of the door because it's so heavy it closes itself. And I haven't thought to take a wedge down there, but yes, I'm looking for an answer.
Yeah. So our answer is the TriStopper. So I didn't know why somebody didn't think of this before, but it's a doorstop that not only can you use on the front portion of the door, you can use it on that little side portion or on the back portion. Because what it does is there's a spring in
TriStop.
Yeah, there's a spring in it, and then when you pop it down, you can just slide. There's a portion that sticks out of the tube, and that's what you put under the door. And when you let go, the spring pops back up and just holds the door in place. On that. And
Brilliant.
What's nice about this is because the wedge, depending on how high or low your door is, you could be like shoving the whole thing, like right into the door. This can fill up a gap between 2.7 millimeters to 30 millimeters for us Americans because we can't use a decent measuring system. It's 1/10 of an inch to about a little over an inch on
that's
there.
Pretty
So
good. That's pretty good size gap.
It fills up a good gap. And like I said, it's great for the floating floors because of the spring. So if the floor moves, the spring will just keep pushing it down to fit the area. And it doesn't damage the door because it actually just, holds that gap together.
And they mention for chewing dogs, this is a hard plastic, which is less desirable than like a rubber doorstop. So you wouldn't have to worry about your doorstop being a chew toy.
Yeah, and
that's like a total bonus.
Yeah, I didn't know dogs would chew that, but then again, don't dogs chew on everything?
Especially rubber things like soft rubber that you usually see for those wedges. This would not be as enticing to a dog.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it comes in colors.
No, it only comes in silver and black right now, but they're hoping if they raise enough money to provide it in colors.
I would totally get a fuchsia one.
But I love it because it's low profile. It's not in the way. You can use. I love how you can use it on the multiple sides. That's awesome because, sometimes you want the doorstop inside or you want it outside of the door. You can even, this makes it even easier to, have the doorstop like halfway. Because have you ever had to try to do that dance when you're trying to use a doorstop because you only need it to crack open instead of fully open, and it's just a pain?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about this, Drew?
I love the idea. And again, like you said, why hasn't anybody come up with this before? This just seems like a simple, easy answer to the doorstop problem. A spring-loaded doorstop that goes right under and wedges itself in the door. And it's small. The footprint of this thing is so small that it almost becomes part of the door. So it seems really nice. I was looking here down to see money-wise, like how much one of these is going to run you, even retail after the fact. And it's looking about.
I love this. This guy's smart enough to know that most people are going to be from the U.S. looking at projects, so it's about $24 a doorstop on there. But that includes shipping, because keep in mind he's from the U.K., so so that $24 includes how much he has to send it across the pond, as they say over there.
Yeah, that's true because that would be quite a bit more
on there. But yeah, I do love how it says approximately $24 and approximately $28 on there. That's a good way of knowing your target. That that's a hint that that most people who are going to be looking on Kickstarter probably do live in the U.S.
and they probably aren't that good at converting pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, this is definitely a back. I think I would love to see. And again, even if I wait to get one in a retail situation, this is a project that I think should totally happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to support the idea because I think this is a brilliant and innovative way to solve the problem.
Yeah. And then the Laser Norm says he's asking why all the photo examples are on hardwood or tile. I actually don't know. On there, maybe it just takes a better picture when you're on hardwood or tile.
Oh, I don't know if he knows this, but the UK, they don't have carpet. They just don't have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can't even buy it over there. They in fact they don't even use fabric for any. I don't know.
I don't know. It's all the Brits. Them fish and chips. It's all weird. For me, it's a back. For me,
totally back.
Yeah, for me, it's a totally back. I mean, I'm trying to think, where do I need a door stopper in my house right now? Because I kind of really want this because it's way cool. So that is the TriStopper. All right, Drew. This next project is kind of near and dear to your heart because
It
you're
is.
an edumacator,
I am.
making them kids smarts.
Um, and I'm always thinking. So our next project is something that I have. I don't know. I think most of us all come up with our own methods for sharing whiteboard discussions. I do this often as an educator. When I'm in front of the class, I often use my whiteboards to draw 3-point lighting design, to draw storyboard ideas, and that kind of thing. I even, when I do my recorded video lectures, I'll have a whiteboard often just so I can demonstrate what I'm talking about. So the Rocketboard Kickstarter, which has been running for probably about a week or so now, they're about a third of the way to their goal. What Rocketboard is, it will let you turn in kind of any sort of writing surface into a digital streaming sharing site. So you can use Rocketboard to show your whiteboard to anybody else in a campaign or in a group, I guess, or if you worked in separate places. So this would work well if you had multiple teams of people working on things, but you wanted to still share your ideas with that whiteboard. The thing I love about a whiteboard is that you've got this kind of organic feel. They have apps like this where you can all draw on the same app and share what you're mousing and drawing. But I like the whiteboard. I like how big it can be, and I like how visual it can be, and you just erase and go again. It just feels quicker and easier. So what Rocketboard did is they put together a quick app where you set this phone up and basically point it at the whiteboard, and it doesn't have to be directly on. It doesn't have to be like head on, faced up, and it's not transmitting just a video image. So this is not like, hey, I'll just turn on my camera and show you what's on my whiteboard. No, this actually is transferring, like you tell it where the four corners of your board are. By marking little triangles, it recognizes those four corners, straightens out the image, so you can shoot it at an angle. It'll straighten it out for you, and then it turns into a graphic what's happening on the board. It'll even erase the people that are in front of the board. So if you step out of the picture for a minute, it just takes a look at what's going on there, and it basically can tell the difference between you and the board and the markers. And by doing that, you step out for a minute, and it takes a snapshot, and you draw some more, and it updates with you, and you explain things what you're doing, and you step out for a minute again, and takes a snap. It keeps updating that. If you want to save it, I believe they were saying that you just walk up and put your hand in front of the camera. So basically it loses all four dots. As soon as it loses all four dots, it takes the last thing that it had sent, and saves it as like a still image to use. So you always have like the final drawing, and you can erase and start over, and everybody else has got it. So it could work with paper, it can work with anything that you can draw on. Again, for me, it's the innovation here. It's just this kind of neat idea that they can take something that we use all the time and make it more shareable. So did I miss anything? What other questions?
Well, so I the one thing I have a question on is their pricing. So is it a subscription-based model,
Yes.
or how does that work?
Okay, good question. So they have a subscription-based model because really what they're building is an app, and the app does this and helps to connect the team. And your other end, like if you're the one doing the drawing on the whiteboard, the other end doesn't have to have the app or a subscription. They just get it through a web browser, and you'll see some of their stills. I can't remember if they're down lower. No, they're probably in the video, but they basically, the app shows you who's in the meeting and what their dry board looks like, or their whiteboard, and you could have multiple people sharing their whiteboards, or just one of you that's start up the Rocketboard app. So it's a subscription base. You go like regular price $10 a month, $120 a year, but here on the Kickstarter they're doing like 75% off, and so for that silver edition, as they're calling it, you can do all your stuff, password protect the sessions. You can have up to 10 sessions scheduled, up to 5 different viewers per session. And on the Kickstarter version, it's only $25 for an entire year.
Yeah,
so
that's not a bad price at all, because I always have this problem, and there's like at work right now we use GoToMeeting. They sort of have a solution.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
But the thing is, it only works on Windows, which drives me insane since our whole entire lab uses Macs. So I'm like, I can't use this fancy feature on there.
And I've never really, and granted, I haven't seen a lot of Rocketboard's display style, but I just never liked the GoToMeeting quote whiteboard. It's fun to all be able to draw on the same thing, but there's something about the space that you have on a whiteboard, because I have whiteboards that are the size of an entire wall, and I could use that. So I like the space. So there you go. Answer your question. It's subscription based, and you get the best deal if you go in at as a backer.
Yeah, and I like how it integrates into like Evernote, Dropbox, and Box,
Yeah.
so you can save it into your cloud into something you use. I mean, the more I learn about Evernote, the more like maybe I should try it. But
I don't use my Evernote hardly at all. In fact, once I even bought a Happy Sumo like training video package for using Evernote, getting the most out of your Evernote, and I never watched it fully, but it sounded really great. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like when you put your hand in front of the camera, it just takes that last like image that it was about to send, and it pops it right into your Dropbox or right into your Evernote so that you have that saved. So for me, this is a back, especially at $25. This is something that even if I got it and I used it once or twice in the next year, I think it would still be kind of worth it, kind of cool for me to support this idea. So,
and then this is it Android and iOS?
I believe.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Looks like it is, or that it will be by the time they finish this. Oh, there it is. So December 2014, Gold Edition, second release, iOS and Android. So they have a timeline set up, and they're basically, yeah. So you should see stuff early release for iOS in September, and then Android and iOS in October. So
yeah, I love this idea. I mean, because right now I know that like we use whiteboards a lot too at work, and what we end up doing is we just end up taking a picture of it.
Hey, hold on, this is what I mean.
And then this would work so much better being able to hey, just jump on this and you can see us and while we're doing it in live, because sometimes you need that motion, the action of you drawing, adding things for it to make sense instead of just showing them final project.
Right. It's true. That's true. And so they can watch it be formed. They can follow whatever's happening. So
for me, that's a back too. I love this idea. I kind of wish I had it in high school, because I was taking my calculus class and it was actually a 2-period class. The problem was my schedule was so packed I couldn't take the second study session period on there. So what would happen would be that I would do all my like calculus homework, but I'd never know if I got all the answers right, or if I had questions, I could never like get how to do the actual problem on there.
Oh dear.
Because my book, they only give you the odd ones and
right. So, I remember that. Yes.
So what I had to do was I had my buddy actually like film that session so I could get those notes and figure out how to do. And if and the professor was already writing on a tablet and stuff. So if he had this, it would have been so much easier for me, just to get the whiteboard images while I'm either if I'm at a lunch break or something, and just pull them up that way. And I probably could see it a lot better than through the camera.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So that was the Rocketboard. So Drew, we've had a useful thing with the TriStopper. We've had an educational thing with the Rocketboard.
Some cool tech too. Yep.
Do you know what we're missing in this episode?
Let's see. Functional, techie. No, I think we covered everything. I can't think of anything else that we might need to cover.
No, I think we need orgies in this episode.
I'm not sure that we do.
Yes, we do. All right, so before all of you guys turn off the screen, the project is called "How to Plan an Orgy in a Small Town." It is a film, a comedy film.
And I found the right thing, because I actually went into the Indiegogo app and I typed in Orgy, knowing that I needed to probably know a little bit about the project. Well, guess what I found out? The band Orgy tried to launch a crowdfunded album a year ago. They got $8,000. That was it, out of all they had asked for. And I just went, because I was an Orgy fan back in the day. So anyway, so sad. But let's get on to what the real Orgy is.
I have to ask, were you trying to like shield your phone a little bit while you're searching this from your wife?
Okay, funny story. I did, because kids are in bed. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to check this out because I need to know what it's about. So I took the dog out to go to the bathroom, and I walked down the back porch and sat down in the chair in the dark and just let the dog do its business while I pulled up this show, the movie, because I wanted to watch their clip. Stacy came out and just closed up the house. She didn't come out to find me. She just looked at, like, the door was closed, the sliding glass. So she pulled the screen shut, closed the sliding glass, locked it, went back in and started doing stuff. And so after like 7 minutes after I'd watched the film and, researched the project, I walked back up and started knocking on the back door, and she was like, "What? What's going on?" She was so freaked out because
I was wondering what was taking you so long. You got locked out of your own house.
I got locked out of my own house because I was watching How to Plan an Orgy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a
It's a film.
It's a film about, well, the title tells you, how to plan an orgy in a small town. But the message between all of this is the message the director's actually trying to get is about accepting that it's okay to be who you are.
Yes.
And not worry about what others think. And that is why I'm wearing a fedora sideways.
Be whatever you want.
Yeah. And the reason that this project caught my eye is because the cast includes Jewel Staite.
Wasn't the word orgy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not really. Well, when you see the words orgy and the name Jewel Staite with it, you're like,
oh, yeah. Done.
If that sounds familiar to you guys, she was Kaylee in Firefly. Dr. Oh, crap. What was her name? Crap. I forgot. But she was in Stargate Atlantis, and then she was Raquel in LA Complex on there. So I'm a huge fan of hers. Also, it includes Ennis Ersmer. He's from The Listener or Covert Affairs. Mm-hmm. Lauren Lee Smith from The L Word, Intelligence, and CSI. Original, not like some offshoot city. Catherine Isabel from the Ginger Snaps trilogy, American Mary, and Hannibal. And Jonas Chernick from Lucid, My Awkward Sexual Adventures, and Degrassi. But I swear every Canadian actor was in Degrassi at one point in their life.
Yeah, probably true.
On there. But yeah, so I was really skeptical about this, and the only reason I clicked on it is because I saw Jewel Staite tweet about it. I'm like, okay, this is probably some funny one-off. Mm-hmm. But then I watched the kind of their video trailer that they put, and I was laughing within like the first minute of it. And
it was funny the way they did that.
Yeah, it was good pacing. It was good, and I was like, okay, I have to back this right now. They already had me at Jewel Staite, and then I saw the word orgy, and then I finally saw the intro video. So they had me long ago, but
it was funny because they kind of just did like this Skype call with Jewel Staite, and they started talking to her about being in an orgy, and then they bring up the fact that they want to film it, and so it really, like, just the miscommunication. I'm sure it was all planned and written out, but they played it really well. So it was just kind of like, wait, does my agent know about this? I thought that was hilarious.
I loved it. So they haven't told a lot of stories, but I love like kind of his reasoning on this, because $70,000 is not all the money he needs. What happens is he got a grant from this Canadian, what is it called?
An indie film team? Or no,
from Telefilm Canada. So they
and this isn't the first film that he's done, right? We should point that out.
Yeah.
He's done another one that went through and showed at many festivals and brought home some awards.
Yeah, won a few awards, but. So what happens is Telefilm Canada, they give out money, but he needs to. They don't give him money for the whole production. They only give him a tiny portion, and he has to raise the rest.
So it's like a match fund, yeah.
Yeah. So he's looking to raise $70,000 on
Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars. So I don't know what that converts into US right now. But he's honest. Like he's like, in honesty, we really are looking for $100,000 right there. And he's so transparent about it, where he's like, we get it to $100,000, we could get a cool soundtrack for you guys. $150,000, we could market this so more people can see it. And he's like, yeah, I could have gone and found a producer or somebody else to kind of help fund the rest of this money. Mm-hmm. But after my first experience of, kickstarting his first movie, which was, what was it called?
After Kids.
Yeah, Sex After Kids. Yeah, Sex After Kids. He was like, I love this community. I want them to feel the part of the movie and everything. So he came back to do the sequel on there. And I don't know. I loved it. So what do you think about it, Drew?
I can't say that I'm a super big fan of sex movies and orgies. I mean, it's just not something that I have in my daily diet or ever. So yes, it was a little strange. Yes, I had to make sure that I knew what I was getting into before I researched the project too far.
I hope you didn't search for the words how to plan an orgy.
I didn't. No. I knew exactly where to go. Although I did see some other projects with the word orgy in there that were strange. But as a filmmaker and as a film, that I love indie films. I love this idea that he's using something that's somewhat taboo, but also it's like a little buzzword that people are like, whoa. There's still goodness there that he's trying to point out this moral of be who you are, and that I can totally get behind. So for me, I'm tracking it only because I'm embarrassed to back.
Yeah, and I love it. He's smart enough to get good actors.
Oh yeah,
I
they're
mean,
solid, bro.
I mean, as you know, as a video producer, that's something that you realize really quickly, that your video quality can go so much higher if you just have good actors that know how to like respond to things. And
Yes,
that video, the video they made for the project just convinced me. I'm like, okay, these guys know what they're doing. I trust them. Take my money.
right, yep.
So that's a back from me. It's a track from Drew, and unfortunately, that is the last project of the night for the KickCast. I honestly never know where the time goes, Drew.
And we cover so many quick things, like in quickness.
Yes.
Wow. And we had some great comments in the chat room tonight, so that was always fun.
Yes, a little programming difference. If you guys are watching live, or if you missed watching it live, you will notice that we're not on Justin TV anymore. That's because Justin TV shut down. But we planned ahead. But I'll tell you right now, if you're listening and you want to watch live, you can always find where the live stream will be at ktdata.net/live or live.kickcast.net. Both of them actually just take you to the same page.
Yep.
On there, and I will always make sure I have it updated. And in the next few weeks, we're going to actually have a fully self-hosted IRC chat room, so that server will never disappear until I tell it to disappear.
Nice.
And that's not going to happen anytime soon because the site's not going anywhere. We're gonna have that all set up, and then for the next couple episodes for the live stream, we'll probably be trying different video streaming providers until we find one that seems to fit well with us. And rest in peace, Justin TV. Lots of memories.
So many good years, yeah, I bet. Yep.
But if you guys want to have any projects you want to share with us, please let us know. You can do that by emailing us, kickcast@ktdata.net. Or you can find us on the Facebook. You should go like us. Help us get to 100 likes. That would be awesome.
Yes.
We're like at 79, so help us to get to 100 likes.
Oh, we're close. Very close.
That'd be cool on there. And you can find that at facebook.com/kickcast. Or you can find us on the tweeters. Tweeters.
We do tweet.
You can follow at KickCast on that. Or you can follow Drew at Night20 with a K. Or you can follow me at Ktdata, of course, with a K. On there. If you're on YouTube and or if you're listening via podcast and you're like, well, how do I make sure I get the next episode? Just hit the subscribe button wherever you are. Add us to your podcatcher. I hate that word. Your RSS reader, or YouTube subscription, or wherever you're seeing this right now, and it has a button that says subscribe on it. Just hit on it, and it will show up in your inbox, ready to listen or consume in however way you want.
Yes, consume us whenever you need to.
Of course, if you missed out on I want to learn how to plan an orgy in a small town. Where was that URL again? Just head on over to kickcast.net. Look for episode 47. 47. We're almost big 50. Wow. And then look in the show notes, and it'll have links to the projects from there. Drew, do you have anything else you want to plug before we go?
Not really. Life is good, and tell your friends, tell your family. Watch us talk about stuff all night. It's fun.
Yeah. So keep an eye out also on ktdata.net. I've released many box openings in the past week, and I still got one more to release. So you will want to check that out. And what I love before we go is somebody actually left a little review on our podcast. And he said, I love this show. If anything, I remember to stay regular. So, guys, don't forget to poop. And we will see you in 2 weeks, August 19th. Bye-bye.
Please poop. Bye.